Sky's the limit, the truth is on our side. There's no time for worry, let's show the world our pride. Whether another comes up with a surprise, we all will discover where our fate will lie. On a blue wave, we rise to save the day. Only me, only you can let our hearts sail away on a blue wave.
And welcome to episode 55 of TruBlu Politics Podcast with Karen and
Anita.
And we are here with our very, very special guest, Patti Vasquez from Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez on WCPT 820 AM Chicago Progressive Talk Radio. And thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
So,
about. If only there were news.
I know. There's never any news anymore.
Oh my gosh! And there's going to be something else breaking while we're recording.
Oh, I know.
It.
That happened last time.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
With Alex.
Alex Patti.
Alex.
Alex Patti. That broke right when we were in the middle of recording.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you. Yes, we have had some breaking news just this morning. The first thing that popped up on my feed was that Prince Andrew had been arrested.
Yes.
So, and
on his birthday, by the way.
On his birthday, 66th birthday.
Yes.
He was arrested by plainclothes police. So they must have had this, they've been planning it, right? Been investigating him because he was arrested, I think, at home.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Apparently public misconduct because apparently he was sharing some financial stuff with Jeffrey Epstein in 2008. This was in the Epstein files. I don't know. Do they have the Epstein files in the UK? I don't know what's going on.
Well, I think they're also taking, because look, there's 3 million documents, over 3.5 million documents, even though a lot of them are redacted. It sounds as though these other governments are taking the files and looking for what they need for their own investigation. So I would imagine, and who knows if the DOJ is then cooperating, like, hey, not for nothing, but maybe unredact this because we want to know what's going on here.
Sure. And do you think that there is a possibility, too, that some of these files, the things that they haven't released yet, like you were saying, all this stuff, so prior to Pam Bondi getting in there, and because the stuff about Andrew broke a long time ago. I mean,
we know about
like a year or two ago, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if there was already some things that were being, released or requested by, England, the English intel.
And I think, to your point, not just about financial information, I think it was also soldiers deployed to Afghanistan. So there was also intelligence.
Was that right?
That was also involved in those documents.
Wow.
Yep.
And then that kind of ties back to the ties to Russia, this whole
ring
of
of
espionage.
That whole thing with also the former prime minister of Norway was arrested. And I think that had to do with some Russian ties.
Mm-hmm.
So... And, this is what Poland's looking into. Poland's investigating whether or not this whole Epstein thing was some sort of KGB setup.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, this has sort of been the speculation from the very beginning, right? With Mueller's investigation and whether or not there was a compromise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And remember, it was the P tapes, and there were all these kinds of rumors. Well, this is what's going to be crazy: is that we were like the conspiracy theorists, and now it's all now it's all coming to light. You're like, oh my god, I don't like being right about some of these things.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And we were talking about this a little bit. We have a meditation group and, of course, and I think Stephanie brought it up today during her show, the thing with Sasha Riley and, just all of this stuff that's coming out. And so much of it seems like, the timeline doesn't match up or it seems a little bit like too far-fetched, right? But, this idea that, they're flooding the zone. zone, right?
Right.
What they deliberately are doing, they're going to put as much of that stuff out there. So then when the actual stuff that happened is, released and everything, then it's like, well, I mean, if that's not real, well, then maybe this isn't real, right? And it just gives that plausible deniability.
There's been all kinds of weird stuff on there about Obama. I mean, there's just some crazy stuff that is obviously, like there was that one story where it included Obama, like sacrifice of babies, people cutting off feet. And even the guy from the FBI was like, okay, this guy uses hallucinogenics. I mean, he obviously thought it was pretty ridiculous, but they're putting stuff in there like that because I think they're trying to make it seem like, well, you can't, there's all kinds of crazy stuff in here.
Right.
How can you believe anything?
Right.
Well, and I think it'll be good to have these other governments because they're also investigating whether or not they're crimes against humanity, which takes it to another level of investigation against the United States, which will be interesting too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I mean, I say, and I know you guys agree. Let's do it all. Like, go get them. I don't care if it's a Democrat, a Republican, an independent. I don't care. Get them. Let's get some some justice for the survivors and the victims. I mean, too many people. I mean, the tragedy, and I even think Virginia Giuffre. I mean, it's like, whether people actually were murdered or the casualties surrounding this cabal is so far reaching, and we were talking about at coffee this morning. I brought it up on Stephanie. At coffee this morning, this, guy who he's annoying as shit. But we can swear, Patti, by the way.
I was like, oh dear.
I know, we couldn't swear on your show.
We couldn't do it. But, where he says something, brings up, how, well, yeah, then there's all these, victims that were paid hush money. And, so it's like all these men, and so basically so I'm like, well, what does that have to do with anything? And because somebody is paid hush money doesn't mean that the crime wasn't committed.
Right.
Can you pay hush money to minors even? I mean, they can't even enter contracts. So would that even be legitimate? Would that even be upheld?
Right.
I mean, well, no, hush money, I guess, wouldn't be a legal thing. I was thinking about non-disclosure agreements. But still, a 15-year-old you're paying hush money to?
Sure. But it's also combined with the threat, right? A physical threat, so it's like, okay, we're just gonna give you this money so that you just, promise to never say anything about any of it. And because they're minors or because they don't want to be threatened anymore or run the risk of having their family threatened. They say, okay, I'll take it and I'll quietly go away and never bring it up. And
like I said, like if you $10,000 to a 16-year-old is going to seem like a whole lot of money, right? They're going to, they probably easily buy it.
Well, and there's so many. I mean, so many survivors are are public. There was an investigation. Remember, there was a girl who had filed a report. Remember, and that got buried over and over again, even during his first campaign. Mm-hmm. I can't remember how old she was, but she was like
13.
That's what
at
I was
the time.
13.
Yeah, there was that. What is her name? Katie Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was isn't it Lisa Bloom's client? And
she tried to file a few times, and then finally she just ran off and went into hiding. I think.
Yeah, well, because she was getting
being threatened because somebody showed up. They showed up at her house.
Yes,
oh my God.
So they knew who she was and where she lived. So that was what finally did it for her, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What we don't talk enough about is how the FBI has dropped the ball over and over again. Because remember with Simone Biles and the gymnast who they had filed complaints with the FBI with this doctor that was abusing them, and they had to go in front of these these committee hearings. Mm-hmm. This is not new. I don't understand what the FBI is doing with sex crimes.
Right.
Marie Farmer went to the FBI. Do you remember that woman? The woman who had the little sister that had been abused.
Yes.
And They didn't do anything for her. She'd already she went to the FBI a couple times.
And it just tracks with, our culture and the way women are not believed. And then when they do have the courage to come forward, and even if they have the evidence to support it, DNA evidence to support it, they're the ones. I mean, we all know this. They're the ones that are put on trial. They're the ones that, are guilty of, like, well, what was she wearing? What did you do to put yourself in that position? And so therefore you deserved it. I mean, and people like Megyn Kelly then carry that water for,
my God.
By talking about how, well, is 15 really a kid, is a child?
That's what's so amazing that E. Jean Carroll, what she did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because go ahead.
No, because you're absolutely right. And she had to go through that over and over again and get dragged. Yeah, no, that was a testament to endurance for sure, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But she wasn't a grown adult. These are girls.
She's a grown, but even she
I'm not saying
said,
to take anything away from her, but think about how hard it would be for a 16-year-old.
Well, without a doubt. And we have to look at her younger self, because her younger self chose not to come out with these allegations.
It was the 80s.
It was after. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when people sit there and say, well, I mean, should we believe them because they put themselves in that position? I mean, women and girls are not believed. We are not valued.
Well, think about what you have to go through to get something taken seriously.
Oh God, yeah.
You have to go through physical exams. You have to, go over it again to this, man, probably.
Sure. And these are some of the most rich and powerful and well-connected men, in the world, not even just in the country. Right.
Cross-examined and attacked and just your past, looked into.
Right. And while you're having yourself threatened, your family threatened, and then in the end, you likely will not be believed, right? You likely will not receive justice through our system.
A very small percentage of rape victims actually do see justice that way, or see somebody actually punished.
And the big stories. I mean, look at the swimmer, Brock, whatever his name was.
Oh my God, I know.
Dead to rights. I mean, this woman was unconscious.
Unconscious, yeah.
And the judge said they didn't want to ruin his life.
Yeah, unbelievable. And
that reminds me of Pam. It was Pam Bondi or one of these idiots, talking about how, well, what's in there is going to ruin a lot of reputations.
Oh, I know, right? Oh my God. Yeah, and the victims, they're the victims. They were portraying the perpetrators as the victims.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree. And what about this property in New Mexico that Epstein also had? And then they're gonna bring out these I guess dogs, these dog sniffing.
But the problem is this guy Huffines, he's running for comptroller here, as a matter of fact. He's just a freak. He's a religious nut. And he says he's now making it into some sort of Christian ranch. So it's under construction. He's he's just started this construction.
Is that equivalent to like a Trump audit?
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Probably.
We can't let you exhume anything because it's under construction.
They need to search it now.
Exactly.
Yes. They need to search it now. So apparently, I don't know why they don't go to a judge and get a search warrant.
Exactly. Well, plus their kid works in the White House.
He works in Russell. Yeah, he works in the White House. And they've been close friends. Apparently, there's pictures of Huffines with everybody at Mar-a-Lago and all the, what's her name that ran for governor of Arizona? Carrie Lake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All the
where is she? Is she in the administration?
No, she's running for office in Iowa.
Oh.
What? No, you're kidding.
Hold on. I'm almost positive that she's running for, because remember that woman that said that we're all going to die? She's not running for re-election. Joni Ernst.
I know she's not.
Oh, right.
Iowa knows they're going to get their ass kicked because right now they're limiting the power of the governor because they know it's going to be a Democrat coming up.
Oh my God!
It's going to take
Joni bread bags.
Ernst. Ernst.
Yeah. Joni
bread
Ernst.
bags.
Bread bags.
I'm sorry. There's speculation that she'll be running for a political campaign in Iowa, her home state. So apparently, she's originally from Iowa.
Oh, is that right? I wonder what she wore bread bags. I'm not surprised that she's trying to run someplace else.
Yeah, she bought a condo in Iowa recently. So there you go.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Setting up her residency, I guess.
And then she's going to lose again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because this is not going to be a good year for Republicans.
No.
It is
and in Iowa especially, they're really hurting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we did want to touch on, Anita found this interview on Midas Touch Network with Ben Meiselas and Ben Smith. Yes.
With Semaphore.
Yes. So I did want to play this for you, and we'll talk about it, and I think we'll stop and start it, and we can comment.
I won't be able to get through the whole thing.
I know. Anita's head is going to explode, by the way, just so you're ready.
Go ahead.
Epstein files. I mean, one of the really great political mistakes I've ever seen was Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, who I guess they sort of weren't in on the joke. Like Trump liked to talk about the Epstein files, liked to kind of throw it as mud at his enemies. But also, of course, he knew that he'd been close friends with Jeffrey Epstein for years. By the way, no serious allegation that Trump ever committed a crime. That is not in the files.
Okay.
But
34 count felon.
That is in the files.
And yes, it is. Okay, hold on.
There are serious allegations in the files just because there wasn't any investigation.
Right.
So it could be they could be corroborated. Doesn't mean there aren't any serious allegations in the files. Ted Lieu has been listing them. He's been going out and speaking on the floor and to the press and on social media. And just talking about the allegations against him, like about the 13-year-old girl that Donald Trump made give him a blowjob and then he hit her when she bit him. That's in the files. The Katie Johnson story's in the files. Those are serious allegations. Just because they haven't been investigated, the FBI dropped the ball.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, yeah. And like we said, repeatedly they've been doing that with sex crimes. I don't understand this at all. If it's the power or they just don't believe it or, I don't know why they just leave it there. It's insane.
Well, same reason why there are like all those rape kits still sitting up in most police stations,
Not a priority. Yep,
not a priority.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to continue this.
The association with Epstein right now politically, it's like an oil spill. Like you can't get it off you once it's on you. And I mean, I can only imagine what Trump was thinking when these trusted aides of his went and said, we're going to release all the emails. This is going to become the centerpiece of American law enforcement. We're going to divert the FBI and these U.S. attorneys from immigration cases, from everything else to redact Epstein files. When, of course, Trump was going to be all over them.
He told them to redact the Epstein files. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! They were redacting his name.
Did you see that they were actually
Christ.
They were actually redacting the letters DONT? Like because
I saw that. Yeah, because it was done, but with AI.
Yeah. So the word "don't" would just be redacted in the middle of the sentence, like "Don't call me after 5" or whatever, and it would be just the word "don't."
I mean, that's not a clue. Come on.
Nothing to see.
They didn't know anything. They just went on. They went rogue and just started, redacting shit. Give me a break.
But of course, left the some of the victims and survivors' names.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes, unredacted.
And images.
Yeah.
Yes.
Images. Yep.
Yeah. Social Security. Yes.
Yep. Okay. So here we're gonna try and get through this. Hold on.
He knew that. He'd known Epstein for years. They were friendly. That was widely reported before he ran for president. It was all over the tabloids. And so just an unbelievable kind of unforced error by his team to kind of totally derail, I think, his second term by just dropping this, giant.
Derailed his fascism.
Oh.
I mean, come on. He was derailing it anyway.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what's important here is not, is protecting Donald Trump from derailing his own shit.
He normalizes him all throughout this interview. It's
so much fun here.
Yeah,
bucket of allegations basically on Trump's head, and he can't really say, "I'm going to fire anybody who has a connection with Epstein," because obviously Trump had a closer relationship with Epstein than Lutnick or than anybody else here.
I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah, hold on.
But it doesn't.
But go on.
The fact that, no, I will. But I just want to say this. He's talking. Well, of course, there's going to be people. Yeah, because he has them in his administration.
Yeah,
he knows them
of feather. Okay. Hello.
No kidding, and they all associated probably with him and Epstein.
Of course, exactly. Here we go.
You mentioned there that there's, regarding the Epstein files, that there may not be anything in the files. That there certainly are lots. I think there are lots of allegations that are made against Donald Trump in the files that were never investigated by the FBI and DOJ. I mean, we see the allegations there, whether they're corroborated or uncorroborated. They were never investigated, and I think a lot of people have concern about that. But look, I think what people are recognizing.
Well, I actually just, for what it's worth, I disagree with you on that. I mean, do you think the Biden Justice Department participated in a years-long cover-up of Donald Trump's crimes? I think these are this huge dump of files that were probably.
No,
okay.
Wait a minute. The Biden administration probably didn't even know what kind of crimes we're talking about. First of all, they were dealing with the Ghislaine Maxwell case, which was they were doing the trial and then the appeal throughout most of his presidency. And the Biden administration, how would they even have known? Do you think they were going to put all these efforts into this Epstein case when they were working on January 6th and all this other stuff?
Well, into the implication.
How would they have known? How would they know?
But also the implication that Biden, and again, the confusion comes in because people that have been paying attention and watching Donald Trump weaponize the DOJ, and in his last term and this term, use the AG as his cover, his fixer and, the person to cover for the Mueller investigation and whatever. So no, Biden was not directing that. He's not supposed to direct the AG.
That part. Yes.
But that part, that is the key difference.
And also, Merrick Garland, I mean, seriously, we could hardly get him to work on the January 6th case.
Yeah.
Please. I mean, they didn't even, probably, unless you were in the Epstein class, you didn't know the kind of crimes that were happening.
Yeah,
that we see in those files.
They had no sense of urgency. Go ahead.
No, I don't think Biden was aware of any of this.
Of course
honestly.
he wasn't. Yeah, and because he's not supposed to be.
No, because he wasn't part of that.
He's not. Yeah, he's not in the DOJ. He's not. And again, he's not. The AG is not his person. Yes, and he's not his personal attorney. So
no, I know.
Anyway, okay, here. So we'll keep this rolling.
And it's a Republican talking point.
Yes, exactly. Here we go.
Investigations in American history. And the reason nobody got indicted is because they couldn't find anybody to indict.
Well, I think that there was an active.
This is me. I realize this may be a dissenting view.
I appreciate dissenting views, but let's, I think it's a healthy debate to have. So, one of the things that I think is important is this undisputed fact, and you could push back if you think it's true or not. Mar-a-Lago, was it a site where child sex trafficking took place? Like, true or false?
I mean, I guess I think that they're just the allegations being thrown around the Epstein files. You've just got to really root them in evidence.
Yeah.
And I just see no reason to believe that the Biden FBI was involved in an extensive cover-up.
He won't answer that question.
That just seems unlikely to me.
Well, I mean, I think
that just seems unlikely because Biden, the Republican talking point is, why didn't the Biden administration do anything about it if there were serious allegations? I mean, that's a Republican talking point, and he's repeating it. He's not telling us actual facts of why, that he doesn't believe that there was something, with Trump, there are serious allegations. He's just saying, well, it's because Biden didn't go after him. Why didn't the Biden go after him if there was something really serious there?
Right. Yeah.
Now he can't even say Epstein was a bad guy. Like, he can't even bring himself to say he was doing anything wrong or bad things were happening. Go ahead.
No, that Mar-a-Lago was used for trafficking. That is a fact.
And all of the modeling agencies, and the fact that Trump was in with I mean, he was in with Victoria's Secret guy and Burnell, and
What were all the parties with all these young girls that everybody has talked about, that have been documented? Mm-hmm. There was parties where him and Jeffrey Epstein were the only two men there, with all these other young women.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. No, nothing.
Creepy.
Nothing.
But nothing. No.
And the fact that, Donald Trump spoke openly about, the fact that one of the perks to owning the pageants was that he could walk in on half-naked teenagers.
Yep.
I know.
Right? I mean...
And him and Jeffrey Epstein had wonderful secrets, remember?
Didn't he talk about putting his fingers in their mouths? I can't remember this.
Yes, there was something about that, like checking the teeth.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
See, there's so much we forget. Like
I know, because there's so much.
Yeah, we're all going to need showers after this episode. Sorry, Patti.
Telling that little girl on the escalator he was going to date her
in 10 years.
Yes, talking about how he would have sex with his daughter, how she was
his daughter. He let Howard Stern call her a nice piece of ass.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. And so I just wanted. So Anita, I don't know if is there any more on this that you want to go through, or was that pretty much it?
Well, I just want to talk about how it's kind of related. Okay, in the UK. Keir Starmer is in so much trouble just for having appointed this U.S. ambassador. Do you remember his name? I forget his name, but he appointed him, and he has these ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes,
I mean, to me, that's amazing that we're just like, oh well, Donald Trump's in there 38,000 times. Half of his cabinet's in there.
Yeah,
sure.
And these guys,
but Republicans. But it's out in the open. I mean, this is the thing. I think that in the long run, it's going to benefit us because when people are seeing what they're doing internationally, and then you compare and contrast that to what the Republicans and the DOJ here in the United States are doing or not doing, more importantly, then I think that it's going to piss people off more going into the midterms.
It is pissing people off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And it's going to continue.
Yep.
It's going to continue. And, so this, I think one of the reasons that we wanted to play this particular clip is this gentleman has been a member of the media for a long time. And it's just kind of this normalization. And we brought up Howard Stern and just kind of this culture, media culture that kind of cosigns and almost frames how we all in the public should be thinking and feeling about these stories. And so one of the things that Ben Meiselas had done prior to this one was he released some of this footage from when Monica Seles. Yes, from when Monica Seles left the tournament and was living at Mar-a-Lago. And just kind of this question like, but when asked if he was in a relationship, he said no.
He said no, he denied it. But the fact that you were even asking it and that kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, just kind of like
just
this is Ernest reporting. Yeah, right. Who's to say?
If you like what you're hearing, please consider subscribing to TruBlu Politics Podcast on Patreon. At any level you can, it is so appreciated and so needed. Anita and I would love to be able to increase the frequency of episodes. We would like to upgrade equipment to make these podcasts even higher quality. But, we have day jobs. We can't do this without support from our loyal listeners and our TruBlu Crew Politics Podcast subscribers. And at any level, you will get additional content as well as be a part of our TruBlu Crew Podcast chat room, where we can interact with you all and hear back. Give us some feedback. Whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on, please consider giving us 4 stars, 5 stars, and a review. We love hearing from you, and we couldn't do it without you. So please consider subscribing. Buy me a coffee. Buy Anita a coffee. And keep the fight going. We are living through unprecedented times with attacks on our democracy and our rights. So we want to continue to be voices in the resistance, and along with you, keep fighting the fight against this autocratic regime. Thanks, everybody. We love you.
But, Patti, of course, you've been a member of the media, right, for a long time. So I don't know if you want to go over a little bit of, your history in media and what you've seen over the years.
So I started at WGN Radio as a fill-in host in 2012, actually just a Sunday night host. And in 2013, I started working Monday through Friday. So when he came down the escalator, and actually in 2004, remember when he had the Trump sign on the building and City Council was trying to figure out if they could ban him from doing that? We actually shot a video where I was just yelling at the building from across the river. This is before we even knew.
Oh, it's this.
Trump.
It was like 2014. He had these and they're still there. These big gaudy letters that were not. It just wasn't traditional along the riverfront.
river.
Like the Chicago Tribune was higher up. It was it went with architecture and things like that. So I've been trying to find the video of me yelling across the river, and I interviewed people about what they thought of the building, because the building itself is pretty cool. But I've always hated him. I was always like, it would look better with a toupee. I was yelling at it and go back. All that kind of stuff. But then when he announced, I have to say, the reaction was swift from people who would become MAGA, like the Tea Partiers, I guess, sort of because I had a fairly conservative listenership, because WGN skews more conservative. And so I will say this, 2 weeks before he announced, my son has severe disabilities, and the school he was going to at the time was from pre-K to third grade, primarily for kids with autism. And it had been vandalized with swastikas and kill all the art. Yep.
Oh God.
So 2 weeks before he announced, and I had seen sort of this buildup of hatred towards Obama, and hanging him in effigy, and his face in a toilet bowl on crap, all kind of stuff that I just I was struggling. I'll be honest, and people who I didn't know were that vile. But when he announced, I told my audience, I said, be very careful, because this man could be the next president of the United States. And it was because of my experience with my son's school being vandalized with swastikas that I was like, this could be a thing. And I got a phone call. This guy was really angry at me. He's like, how dare you? Be respectful. He's a candidate now for president. Oh yeah, that night.
Dad.
Yeah. And I was betting with people. And here, to your point about normalizing him, because I was telling people, because they all thought it was funny, good for the ratings, good for conversation.
It was a big joke.
Yeah. And I said, be very careful. I had bets with professors, with Scott Stantis from the Chicago Tribune. And I said, they thought he was going to drop out after the first debate. And I won bet after bet after bet. We had, Scott Stantis had to get body waxed on my radio show. We did one armpit, his back, one thigh, listeners got to vote on what was waxed, because
that's hilarious.
It is only I would like to have not won those bets.
No.
yes, of course, but yeah.
But that's the thing. I had to find ways to make it funny. We had Freak Out Friday was a segment. We had MAGA Mondays and Hillary Over the Hump, Hillary Wednesday, whatever. We tried doing segments. But yeah, there was definitely a normalization of him, and that it was kind of, quirky and weird, and this will just run out. No, I knew from the beginning to take him seriously.
I knew I had a black friend that said, yeah, he's going to win early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they understood how racist America could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was Les Moonves who said he might be bad for the country, but he's good for ratings.
Oh, I know.
And that's all they saw.
Yep.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, and I think, you kind of touched on something. For me, too, it wasn't just about Trump. It was about the capitulation by the party, but more than that, the base. The number of people that he resonated with.
Yep.
And people that I knew that I thought were thoughtful and compassionate. And, I'm like, what are they watching? What... are they just getting
themselves.
Are they getting their information? Where are they getting their information? Did they not hear the same things that we've all heard? And it really does speak to who are these people? And now
when you hear him, Karen, when you hear him, don't you think, oh my God, he just sounds like a fucking moron.
Right.
He's just going off in these, what he calls weaving, but it's just rambling, makes no sense.
Right.
But they love it.
Yeah, they love it. And Patti, you and I.
But do they? I mean, come on.
I think they do. They love it. They do love it.
I don't know. I think they know they're aware of how stupid he sounds.
Well,
I think so.
Again,
but they don't care.
Right, but remember what we've always said too. They love liberal tears. They love triggering.
Well, they do.
The
they know how much it triggers us. That's their main.
Yes.
That's and they love it because they have been losing the culture war. We talk about it. We are the culture. Our music, our theater, our everything, and it's diverse. We are a diverse culture. We're a multiracial, multinational democracy, and that scares the hell out of them.
Oh, they've always felt like they're losing.
And so, so that just, again, it's like a lot of, like we talk about the backlash from Obama being elected.
But they want to force this culture, their whatever culture is. I mean, we saw it on the Super Bowl, their stupid fake halftime show they had, Turning Point. That's their culture.
But it's completely bankrupt, and it's not,
exactly.
It's
not appealing.
People want to be on a winning team. People want to be, at the big party. They don't want to sit at the party smelling grandpa's farts and, having to listen to Kid Rock. Well, yeah, but the culture thing. I mean, they did grab the culture for a minute. There was a lot of people. That's one of the reasons it was appealing to them. They felt like they belonged to something.
Yes.
And so they wanted to belong to that. But the truth is it's empty and racist and all these other bad things. And so they lost it. They appealed to those people. But then what happened was people are starting to wake up and go, hey, wait a minute. This guy, he's all over the Epstein files. He promises all these things and all this other stuff. And people are starting to look at him differently and maybe feel like, they don't want to be a part of that anymore.
I hope so. I think they want to be part of a team. They want to be part of a team, to your point. And also, there are folks who are just wired to want someone who seems like an authority figure. And for whatever reason, people think that he's a good businessman, no matter how many times you tell him that he was bankrupt, that he should have even been more wealthy with the amount of advantages he had, the kind of wealth he was given.
Oh, yeah.
But they love that. They need someone to tell them what to do.
Right.
They want an authority figure. They have, I've noticed that too. I've heard these people that'll say, well, he makes me feel safe.
Yes.
I'm like, really? That guy? He's abusive. And then you start to understand why people stay with abusive partners.
Yes.
Well, and two, this narrative that, they're all about making our daughters safe, and so we have to protect them from trans women.
Yeah, we need to protect them from him and the Epstein elite, the Epstein class.
Right.
The fact
most of his friends.
Yeah, the fact that you can just grab him by the pussy wasn't disqualifying.
Thank you.
I can't. The mocking a reporter with a disability was not disqualifying.
Right.
These folks were like, it's the way they dismissed all of it. It makes it easy to understand why they don't care that he's in these files tens of thousands of times.
Yeah. Yeah. And, again, going back to that, all of that stuff coming out. And then I wonder, because I have in-laws that voted for him the first time and they were boasting about how they were going to vote for him. And I'm like, did you guys not hear this? And, these are people, good Catholic, church going, on the surface, they put themselves out. They're the people that we would say oh, he's a nice guy or they're good people. Yeah. Right. But yet that isn't disqualifying. That kind of behavior is not disqualifying. So tell me again how you're a good person. Tell me,
they justify it somehow in their heads.
Clearly.
And also that's why they have to stay in their safe spaces so they don't hear a lot of this stuff.
Do you remember when they tried dismissing Obama as unqualified, that he was just a community organizer, even though he was elected state, he was federally elected, he had, wrote for wasn't he an editor for the Harvard Law?
He was Harvard Law Review. Yeah, he was elected president of the Harvard Law Review. It was a blind vote, okay?
I'm just saying.
I know, but they did that with Hillary and they did that with Kamala. That's what they do. But it's ridiculous. They answered this, Harvard, educated, top of his class, everything else, and they answered this, because there was such a backlash against the first black president, and I guess their example of white supremacy was Donald Trump.
Yep.
This gross, disgusting Epstein elite who, went bankrupt 6 times and has cheated on all his wives and has 3 baby mamas. That's who they answered Barack Obama with.
Right. And he tapped into that with the birther.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. The birth certificate, all that stuff, he tapped into that racism. It was always about that.
Yeah. I know, and they're going back to that. I've seen it on social media. They're going back to the birtherism. For some reason, they still feel threatened by Obama.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Remember, this popped into my head because, of course, Stephen Colbert has been in the news, with the whole thing, and this maybe could segue into our next conversation. But do you remember when Stephen Colbert put out that challenge to Donald Trump to have his stuff, I can't remember what records, on his desk by this date at this time.
The college transcripts?
And I'll put his balls in my mouth or something like that. Do you remember that? I have to find that because that was so good. And I was
I remember that.
Yeah, and so here we are with, Stephen Colbert being like one of the people that has, he's always been.
Donald Trump's always been ridiculous, too. Remember when he sued Bill Maher for saying his mother or his father was an orangutan?
Yeah, and then Maher goes back and has dinner at the White House.
I have a lot of problems with Bill Maher. Yeah. He knows
and attacks trans people and Muslims and so let's talk a little bit about the Stephen Colbert. He's going to be gone in May. And clearly he has two shits. He has no fucks left.
He really does not give a fuck at all. No,
I love it.
And that Tallarico interview backfired wildly on CBS.
Oh my God! It's had like 3.8 million views. It would not have gotten that if it just been on the the Late Show.
On CBS. If they had so they created, was it the Streisand effect?
The Streisand effect, and he also raised like $2.5 million and probably more later.
Yeah.
So.
Can I say so? So a couple of years ago, so we've been trying to reimagine things for WCPT, and I've been doing stand-up comedy for over 30 years, traveling across the country, driving through, the heartland and beyond. And I always noticed that there was a sermon, and then there'd be Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity. It always sort of blended together. And I told the station 2 years ago that we should find someone to have on Sundays to do sort of a Christian hour. And I sent them a speech by Representative Tallarico about 2.5, whenever he first started coming out and I was like, hire this guy. I think that the Republicans are afraid of him, and I'll tell you this much: I talked to somebody in the DNC last year, and they wanted Tallarico to wait his turn, which is how the Democrats do these things, which is whatever. I mean, I love.
Told that to Obama too.
Yeah, and I love Jasmine Crockett. This will be an interesting race either way, but I mean, look, it's tough right now for women of color, and I hate being one of those people too that's like afraid to have a woman of color run, but they've shown us how much they hate us.
Absolutely. And this is Texas. I tell Karen this all the time because I was listening to Stephanie Miller and she was talking about Jasmine Crockett. I know she's very pro Jasmine Crockett, and I love Jasmine Crockett. Honestly, I would probably prefer Jasmine Crockett. I think, because James Tallarico is very young. He can still run for many, many years. But I just, I like her just her attitude, her fight. I just love what I've seen, the way she's a good team player with the Democrats. She never kind of goes rogue. So there's a lot of things I love about her, but I'm going to vote for James Tallarico probably because I just want to vote for the best person to win. And in Texas, I just don't think that Jasmine Crockett can win. I'm being honest. I just don't think she can. Everybody I know is
statewide, right? Yeah.
It's statewide. I know my husband has a couple Hispanic employees have said they won't vote for her. They would vote for her. So I don't know.
And we talked about it the other night too on Patti's show about how there are these. You talked about the interview with that Latino man in South Texas and how they said that they would never vote for another Republican again, but will they vote? And we were talking this morning, and I said, but will they vote for Jasmine Crockett?
Right. No, that's why obviously he didn't vote for Kamala Harris. Why didn't he vote for Kamala Harris? Because he had voted for Hillary Clinton. He had voted for he had been a Democrat. This guy but he couldn't vote for Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the interviews with the Trump voters that regret their vote, and then you remember that there was that focus group, Anita, that you were talking about, but then when they were asked if they would vote for Kamala Harris, if they had it to do again, they still said no. They just wouldn't vote.
That Raw News and Politics. She does a bunch of these focus groups, and there was a bunch of them that regretted voting for Trump, but only one that said they would have voted for Kamala Harris if they could do it over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea that people are like, I don't know if she would have done any better. Are you kidding me?
Oh, of course. I mean, most people, I mean, come on. Well, that poll came out that showed, she would beat Donald Trump right now by 8 points. It would be a landslide. It would be like Obama victory,
Yeah.
So, but I just think that people can say that now, but when they, have to actually vote, I don't know. Do you think that she should run again for president, Patti?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I think it would be, to your point, I think we've been told twice, unfortunately, that I have a friend who's running for controller right now in the state of Illinois. And I remember after Hillary lost, she said, she just feels like people hate women more than they hate black people. She was just very blunt about it. And I don't we're aspirational. We believe the best in people, but we are not sending our best.
I know. It's really sad. Well, but I feel the same way.
It's voter turnout.
Yeah.
Sorry. You're so afraid to nominate. I didn't mean to cut you off. You're afraid to nominate a person of color?
Another woman, honestly.
Woman. Yeah.
But especially, I don't know about a woman. Either way, I just think a woman, I think it will be a problem. Although Hillary won by 3 million votes.
Right.
Yes. But in the statewide race, and we talked about this too, Anita, it's like in Texas,
That's what I meant, yeah.
Right. In Texas, no. But if it was in Illinois or if it was a
California,
then Jasmine would probably win.
Oh, she would win. She would win in Illinois. She'd win in California. She'd win in New York. But she's not going to win in Texas. It's just not going to happen. I was talking about how John Tester, how he was able to win in Montana. There are certain places.
Yep.
AOC couldn't win here, right? I mean, Beto couldn't win here, but he could probably win someplace else.
Mm-hmm. How are the gerrymandered maps going to work for some? Were you the one who talking about the dumbmandering? The
dummy mandering is what they're calling it now. I don't think it's going to work out well for them. At least for 4 out of 5 of the gerrymandered districts that they've just done. But we'll see. I just don't see it because it looks like Hispanics have just completely dumped the Republicans. There was that guy that Karen was talking about, all these people in South Texas that voted for Donald Trump. I mean, some of these, like Brownsville, swung like 40 or 50 points.
That's
to Donald
insane.
Trump. Yeah. So, I mean, but they're not going to do it again. He says South Texas will never vote for a Republican again after Donald Trump this time. Mm. So, and a lot of the districts are gerrymandered in South Texas. I think there's one in Dallas and one in Houston. I think maybe I know in Dallas, but or in the suburbs. But I don't think it's going to work out for them. Yeah. And Colorado just said that they're going to redistrict and gerrymander, and they're going to give the Democrats 3 more seats.
That's right.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, flipping that seat in Louisiana was fascinating.
I know.
Mm-hmm. She flipped that was another like 30-point swing, wasn't it? Something huge.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how Republicans can feel safe, even if they're in like plus 20 districts now.
They should not. And I'm excited to see this kind of this movement away from mainstream media, just to shift gears a little bit. And give you the opportunity, Patti, because of course you are starting a new chapter and, kind of putting more of your time and effort into your media activities. So do you want to talk about what things do you have coming up?
Well, so I'm doing a few different things. I am doing more social media because I was working a full-time job in addition to doing radio up until last month. So I am trying to break down some stories. I'm working with the Heartland Signal newsroom. So they catch a lot of the stories that come out of Missouri, Iowa, Michigan, which is how all of this happened. Project 2025 was being unpacked across the country, whether it was restrictions on abortion, gerrymandering, charter schools. So they catch a lot of those stories. I'm doing commentary on those plus national stories. And I'm actually creating a little bit of a comedy tour. I don't want to I'm not doing a sexy liberal tour. we're doing the Resist and Persist comedy tour, and it's also going to be sort of civically minded. We're going to work with the League of Women Voters, with Indivisibles across the country. So we can do a little bit of activism. We're going to do a little bit of interactive civics and history, so fun stuff to give away prizes and just make it fun.
voter registration? Are you going to be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Voter registration. Yep. All the things.
Awesome. That's awesome. And so you're going to be at the No Kings rally on March 28th.
Yes, I'll be hosting that. I'll be at 2, actually. I'll be one in Elkhorn, Wisconsin at 11 a.m. and then the one for Elk Grove Township at 2. I think I'm there at 2, but we start at 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be busy. Yeah.
Now, what is it? What is the date on that?
March 28th.
And great weather, I hope.
I hope so. I hope.
So
Yeah,
it's a good time of year.
65 in February was weird this week. That was
Yes.
It's been that warm there, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's been warm here too, like in the 80s.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was kind of nice though, because we definitely had a cold snap for quite a while. So this is kind of nice to have it, be a little more mild. But yeah. Well, listen, I know that you are a busy lady and you have a lot of things to do. But
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Patti.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Anytime, and I'd love to have you back on my show. And follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm trying to grow more folks with my my little videos. Yeah.
Tell everybody your address on Instagram.
The Patti Vasquez show page. Yep.
We will link to all of that.
Thank you.
And our posts, and thank you again. It was so much fun, and thanks for having me in studio.
Take care.
I love it.
Thank you, ladies. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, so that is that was a great conversation, and thank you, Patti, for joining us. And we have our work ahead of us, but I think that it is, I think that the people that have been in media for a while have, kind of, they understand the assignment, and it's exciting. Do you want to play
that John Ossoff thing? Do you want to play that clip from John Ossoff or not?
Sure. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. We can kind of end on this.
I just thought it was inspirational.
All across Georgia, more and more people of every background and belief reject the chaos and corruption. It's not just Democrats and independents. Republicans take me aside or they call me on the phone. They tell me they're afraid of where this president has taken us and they don't want it to go on. They tell me they're voting for a Democrat for the first time. And it's no mystery why. This is the cruelest and most arrogant group of people who have ever ascended to high office in the United States. And their cruelty and their arrogance are matched only by their incompetence. The president said he'd bring down prices on day one. Instead, his tariffs keep driving prices higher and higher. Since he took office, coffee's up 20%, ground beef and the power bill both up 13%, apples up 10%. I could go on, all in 1 year. Unemployment is rising too. Listen to this. American manufacturing jobs have shrunk nearly every single month since Trump rolled out his tariffs. Last month, more Americans lost their jobs than any January in 17 years. And while prices are going up and jobs are getting harder to find, they decided to let health insurance premiums double for more than 20 million Americans, including more than 1 million Georgians. 200,000 Georgians have already lost their insurance. I heard from a woman in her early 60s. She's fighting cancer. She told me she was going to lose her health coverage in the middle of chemotherapy. In the middle of chemotherapy. Now, you remember, we were told that MAGA was for working class Americans. You remember that? But this is a government of, by, and for the ultra rich. It is the wealthiest cabinet ever. This is the Epstein class ruling our country.
That's the ad. That is the ad.
Is he running for president?
We shall see. But that
I don't know.
is the
There's
winning.
going to be a big field.
You talk about messaging. That is a winning message right there.
Yep, he encapsulates it very well.
Mm-hmm, sure does. And we have to tie all of this to the Epstein class, which includes the Republicans and Donald Trump and all of his big donors and his cabinet members.
Yeah. lots of people in the White House. It seems like they're all connected somehow.
Yep. So anyway, well, this has been great. And guys, like and subscribe to our podcast. We can't do it without you guys. Join our Patreon. You can sign up for any amount. And we really appreciate you guys buying us a coffee if you can. Thank you. Talk to you later.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Maybe sooner.